Yo, welcome back to the second Molten Devlog. So today we're gonna talk about the mechanics and a character overview before the stream this weekend, where we'll finish one of them, or get closer to it at least. So, first of all, let's remind you of the global direction of this game, which is to be RPG inspired. This reflects in the fact that it's a team game with assist, like a party, and some mechanics like leveling up or mana. So the setting is going to be more of a fantasy setting, a bit western inspired. I'm trying to do things I don't usually do. And the game has few moves and options, as we said, and we'll develop on that just a bit later. And as I said, you can level up during the fights themselves and upgrade your moves. And it will be also based on some tactical interactions to give that RPG feeling, which will go through both resource management and the fact that the earth boxes are set in a certain way to ensure some interactions play out the same way every time. So speaking of the control, it's a 5-button game. 2 of them are for assists, A and B, and you have 2 normal buttons. One P for physical, which is your normal attacks, and one M for magical, which is your special attacks. You have 3 of each, and you have you can press both at the same time to throw. And when you are on your last character, you have the last one becoming a special attack. And then you have the U button, which stands for upgrade or unique, which will help you level up for the Molten Woods character and do something special for the guest characters. So there's additional restrictions like the fact that there is no jump in this game, and there are no forward or back command normals. So, I mean, at least in neutral, which means at any time you have between 7 and 8 options. So your 3 normals, your 3 specials, your throw, and your desperation attack, which means the characters will have weaknesses. They can't cover everything with those moves. Then, on the hitbox side, as you can see, I've separated it into standard hitbox heights, which means that attack can hit or dodge in predictable ways. Like an attack that hits at mid-height, can be dodged by earth boxes that are low profiling, and that only cover low. Same for the air, same for all of that. Then in terms of UI and resources, let's take a look at them. So there's health, which in the UI will have to show the current health, the max health, and the health cap, since it increases as you level up. Similarly, mana does the same, but this one is your meter of sorts. It's per character and is used for special and assists. And then you have your levels and XP, and when you have full XP you can level up. So these are gained during the fights, and from time to time you get a skill point, which you can then use on your specials to level them up. Actually, I've done a more advanced mock-up of this that I'm showing on screen right now. But yeah, so speaking of this level up mechanic, you get XP during the fights, and you can use the level up when it's full. So the level up itself is a cancel. That means you can do quite a bit with it, and you get some stat increases and passives as you level up. So that can mean some new attacks once you reach level 5 or something, for instance. The level cap is 10. You get a skill point every 3 levels, and you can distribute up to 3 skill points before the start of a fight, which will come with the level. So you can distribute them in your team to alter the way they work before it even starts, but after your opponent has selected his own team. So speaking of those skill points, so each special can upgrade, but only once, and you have 2 choices. You have the straight upgrade, which does the original job a bit better, and the alternative upgrade, which actually changes the move. So for instance, Aster has a projectile, which if you upgrade it becomes a projectile which is stronger and can control the speed of it. Or if you do the alternative upgrade, you get a lingering move. So it's a projectile that really doesn't go far, but it's really helpful to keep an opponent locked down. So if you take it, you improve your close range pressure, but you abandon your main way of fighting at distance. So that way you can customize the characters a bit around 2 playstyles. And this is where I'm actually going to start introducing them. So let's start with Aster, the Wanderer, who is a versatile rushdown character, but can turn into more of a pure rushdown character if you use the alternative upgrades. So he's easy to use, he has a good support value, thanks to his pretty versatile assists, but he's pretty bad at anti-airing. But this character is pretty much done, but will need a bit of a rework. So if we take a quick look at his moveset, we have 5P, which is an advancing move, pretty useful in neutral, 2P, which is going to be your fastest move and a low, and AP, which is a short-ranged anti-air that also gives a bit of advantage on block. Then you have 5M, which is a projectile. When upgraded, you can control the speed of the projectile and can combo thereafter, while the alternative version is a lockdown tool. 2M is a block string ender that's safe and gapless. The upgrade adds some follow-ups for additional mana, which is really useful to tack on some damage when you're the last character and have a surplus. While the alternative version is a DP, also with a follow-up, but that means you are abandoning your safe block string ender to get a DP, and only that. Even the projectiles all have a gap before. And then you have 8M, which is a low crushing overhead, with the upgrade being even more evasive and being able to combo after, while the alternative version is a fake out low, which means you don't have any more overheads anymore until you are the last character, in where you will unlock the desperation attack, which is once again an overhead jumping one. So this is the attacks I will want to rework, all the 8 attacks. So 8P and 8M, but yeah, for now that's what it is. Then we got Eremia, the soldier, who is a defensive mid-range character, which can get more offensive if you use the alternative upgrades. So she's easy to use, but with a focus on defense this time, and you will want to control space with her big pokes, normals and specials. But she has some trouble with evasion, so if you have a low profiling move or a jumping move, she can have some trouble with that and has to call it out pretty specifically. So 5P, 2P and 8P are all various pokes, while your desperation attack is a flurry of pokes, which is a bit unsafe. But then you have 5M, which is going to be your main poke and has absurd range, while 8M is a long range overhead, and 2M is a counter. So they will need to be completing our specials, which is what we'll do this weekend in the stream, so stay tuned for that. Then we have the characters that are somewhat started, most precisely. So we have Caroline the Mage, which is a support mage, but can also become a very offensive mage. So she can heal, but she can also charge her spells to get more power. But she has pretty slow movement, more like a floaty movement that starts up slowly, so she can't really escape really easily. And and her spells are also pretty slow. So at the moment there is the model and a basic animation. Then we have the rogue, name pending, as well, there will be a lot of them. He is a speedy rushdown type of character. I'm still deciding on the final design for his moveset, but I have a simple model, simplified without the cape, and an example attack. Then we have a few guests that have been made. So there's Mystery Johnson from Schwarzblitz, who is a mix-up character, as in his original game, and whose special ability is not going to be leveling up, since guest characters don't have access to that, but is going to be Trigger. So we made a bit of him on stream with Andrea during the Niche Fighter Fest, so you can watch that if you want. But yeah, he only has 2 moves. And then there is Adramelekh from Sol Invictus by Q. So this was made before the recent reboot. So the design might be altered in the future, but at the moment it was more of a focus on pushing the opponent to the corner but being a bit unsafe. She's meant to, since she was inexperienced, she's meant to be helped by other characters. Here you can see there is 5 attacks in a move set already, and then there are finally some other characters that are planned but not made at all for now. So here's a lightning round with a bit of concept art, which can all of that can change, of course. But we have Daphne, the knight, which can be either a tank or a juggernaut. So what I mean by that is that she is a slow character that has some very good defense, especially very good defensive assists to protect your other characters. But you can also make her a big attacker that's hard to stop using the same armored moves. But once again, her weakness is that she is pretty slow. Then we have the ranger, who is going to be zoning. The initial design had traps, I will have to think about that once again. Then there's the hero, which is somewhat important in the lore. He can go to level 15, that's his special ability, and he can upgrade his specials twice. So but he's a bit weak at the lower levels, so that's definitely more of an anchor type of character. And then we have on the opposite hand, we have the warlord, which is on a horse and can be is made to be strong at lower levels. So that's about it for the state of the project. So I'll see you guys on Saturday, the 10th, at 15:30 CEST, which is Europe time, or French time more specifically, to stream the last few moves for Eremia and get back into the swing of things. So don't hesitate to drop by and ask questions on the game or on casting in general. I feel the time is appropriate because it's not, I mean, I will have finished eating, but it's also pretty accessible for most people. It's gonna be at 9:30 in the morning for people in Canada towards Toronto, and in the evening for people in Asia. And it will probably be between 1 and 3 hours, depending on how things are going. So yeah, please come on by and we'll have a chat then. See ya!